press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to Highway on my podcast with Rocky, Mayur and Abhinandan.
We're back!
And we are back on Highway on my podcast with the two biggest men in Indian food and travel.
Just galloping, getting this thing going.
Their names are Rocky and Mayur. Also with us is producer.
And they eat more than chana.
Jai ho. That sterling bit of humor is from Prashant, director and producer extraordinaire.
Also Prashant Sareen is with us and my name is Abhinandan Sekhri. Welcome to yet another drive around India through Highway on my podcast, because until you can get on the highway, we will try to bring the highway to you. And this is a very special episode because all the weeks that we've been taking you across India, we've got so many wonderful mails sharing your moments, sharing your travels, and sharing your thoughts. And the idea is to build this giant community of hump enthusiasts, travel and food enthusiasts. So by the time this horrible pandemic is over, we can get these strapping young men and me, the mature old man, back on the road so we can do Rocky and Mayur rides again. But we figured we must share the experience of all of you. So this episode is dedicated to you and we shall read your mails and your food experiences and travel experiences.
And it's dedicated to all of India क्योंकि है प्रीत जहाँ की रीत सदा मैं गीत वहाँ के गाता हूँ भारत का रहने वाला हूँ भारत की बात सुनाता हूँ.
Although I must say that at some point we will also tell you about our wonderful travels discovering food and highways across Mauritius, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Sri Lanka, which were also amazing trips. But yes, nothing quite like Sadda, India.
Then I'll have to change my song again. I'll have to make it like international citizen हूँ मैं गीत वहीं के गाता हूँ सारी दुनिया में घूम के मैं खाना सबका खाता हूँ or something like that.
सर आप तो कंट्री में पॉलिटिक्स में काफी ऊंचे पद पे हो सकते हैं अगर आप ये गाना गाते रहे,
है ना?
मे बी टॉप मोस्ट.
फिलहाल मैं अग्निपथ पे हूँ मेरे दोस्त अग्निपथ. But listen, enough bad humor यार. Niku, do something. This is getting worse.
मेरा तो सिंपल असूल है, ना खाऊंगा ना खाने दूंगा.
हाँ, वो लगता है तेरी शक्ल देख के. तेरा 5.6 inch chest देख के हमको लगता है कि neither you will eat nor will you let anyone else eat.
So let's start with this mail is from Atharva. Greetings from Mumbai. I have been listening to your podcast religiously for 3 weeks now and I'm still trying to catch up with the previous episodes. The podcast helps me get through boring everyday chores like washing dishes and drying clothes. I loved your show and love hearing what happened behind the scenes on your podcast too. Please continue the great job that you guys are doing. I'm from Mumbai. When you guys are back on the road, I would highly recommend you go to the Irani restaurants in South Mumbai and try dishes like keema pao, chicken sali boti, chicken patties. Oh, the list goes on. There are over 10 Irani restaurants just in Mumbai. Also, I've attached a drawing of me listening to your podcast while doing the dishes. Consider it a gesture of love and appreciation from my part. I hope you like it. Atharva. Atharva, your image is lovely. I have shared it on Insta. I don't know if I put on Twitter, but I will if I haven't. Guys, did you guys check out Atharva's wonderful homage to podcast?
We have looked at it and I will be sharing it on our Instagram page and our Twitter today or tomorrow, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Atharva, well done, my friend. Remember, there is no task too small and no chore too little. My family beats me and makes me wash the dishes as well and sweep the floors. So you are halfway there. You're a real man.
Rocky, Mayur, what have you been doing? You are looking guiltily smug.
I just got lost thinking about all the quickly changing subject. I just got lost thinking about all the Irani cafes. So Athar, A, thanks very much for the beautiful image. And B, yes, we've tried a lot of that. Well, I haven't tried a lot of those because I'm vegetarian, but Rocky's eaten the keema pao and he's eaten the sali boti. And we love the whole Parsi and Irani cafe culture, especially the bun maska and chai.
Since Atharva is from Mumbai, let's tell him about one bit in Mumbai that we left out. When we went to INS Hamla, which Rocky kept insisting is INS Kamla, which is basically the logistics training institute for the Navy. And they had quite a spread. They laid out a bar and they had this whole cocktail thing going. You guys remember that? We didn't feature it in the Maharashtra episode because there was so much.
Absolutely. It was beautiful. Yeah. I mean, what a lovely spot they've got up there overlooking the ocean. It is completely incredible. And that's the great thing about the armed forces of India. They're super organized, super efficient. Everything gets done. And they made us an electric lemonade. Nobody that they put 2 large shots of vodka when nobody was looking. But but that is
Because
top
back
secret.
then you weren't allowed to consume alcohol on television. I think you
Yes.
still are.
You still aren't. And we did not consume alcohol on television. We had electric lemonade, which was blue in color. बड़ा अच्छा था यार, बड़ा मजा आया पी के.
कि lemonade शराब नहीं होती.
It's amazing how happy the color blue can make you feel.
Get out there, buy a big bottle of blue curacao, put it in a nimbu pani, give it a shake with a lot of ice and drink it up and thank us and INS Hamla of the Indian Navy.
You added vodka to that nimbu pani, which is why it was electric.
Don't tell lies. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But speaking of the Forge being, hosts like no other can be, purely because the kind of logistics that they have at their disposal. Prashant and I in the late 90s had gone to shoot a documentary in Ladakh, and while we were driving from Leh to Kargil, midway we knew someone, an uncle who was posted there. I think he was whatever general, what is it? LOC, no, what was his post? He was whatever.
He was posted in Kargil. He was commanding a battery of artillery guns.
So,
and
stopped halfway, and there's a river there. And he said, you can stop for lunch. We have a small camp out, camp there or whatever, Fauji unit there. And dude, if you can imagine in the hills of Ladakh, waiter liveried with white gloves, a table laid out by a river with mountains all around. And we had been eating Maggie for I don't know how long, Prashant and I, and bahat chicken, ye wo, hum kutto ki tarah toot pade.
Yeah, by the banks of the Indus, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Army, Navy, and the Air Force really know how to look after their own, but they know even better how to look after their guests. And
Except
I think,
when people like you guys come visiting, then there's no Indus Valley civilization. There's only Indus Valley barbarism.
but I think in that regard, the Navy has a little bit of an edge over the others because I think by the very fact that they go to foreign ports and they have dignitaries and that kind of thing. I mean, I think their chefs are trained at a slightly premium level, I would say, compared to the Army and the Air Force. I think then the Army and then Air Force. Air Force is kind of pretty homely. They do really nice spread, but the Navy really knows its chops as far as food is concerned because they can really put out a banquet for you.
Yeah,
you wouldn't imagine.
Absolutely, I agree with you. The Navy has the edge as far as the food is concerned, but in the last few years, people have been grudging the armed forces. Even simple things like this, the simple joys they take. I just want to tell you, people, man, that this is one of the hardest jobs in the world. It is also very, very critical that morale stays up. It is also extremely critical that people feel that there's a semblance of control and organization and discipline everywhere. So everything in the armed forces, in the Army, Navy, Air Force, in the paramilitary forces, everything is based on discipline, which means that if you buy a table in 1974, that table is kept intact, polished, under cover, perfectly in use, very serviceable, repaired continuously. And 46 years later in 2020, if you go out, that same table is taken out and put down at no cost except the cost of discipline and care and taking care of the smallest detail. And that is what makes the armed forces what the armed forces are. So give them a respect. Don't grudge them their little joys. And these are little things. They're tiny little things and they make such good use of them. So all respect to these guys. Next time you see them in a, decent mess, sitting down and having a drink or going for a swim in an officer's institute, just remember that these men have been up in the mountains of Siachen, trekking through death-defying odds. I mean, they lose lives. They have been on the border fighting the enemy. They have been in the deserts, without a bath for weeks on end. They've been, carrying their injuries and their stitches, for weeks with field dressings on to fight the good fight. And the least they deserve is to come back to a disciplined, clean, neat environment where their morale can be boosted and they can sort of go out and take care of our borders again. So never grudge them anything. I, for one, have nothing but the deepest respect for one of the finest forces in the world and one of the greatest institutions in India. Hats off. Salute.
Napoleon had famously said that the army marches on its stomach. And it's absolutely true because, you can't have hungry soldiers. One. Two, we had once gone to, you guys will recall, we had gone to Siachen base camp, right? We were hosted there and we were shooting there. There was a unit of the Sikh regiment there, a very, very famous unit, which has taken part in battles like the Battle of Saragari and all. And they had one of the most fascinating officers' mess ever. I mean, even in that very remote, very inhospitable region, they had done their mess up so beautifully with, artifacts and memorabilia going back about 200 odd years, 200, 230 odd years. And they had this one huge table there, which had been given to them by the Chinese. Do you recall that? I know China is a bad word right now, but
no,
it had been given for their actions during World War II.
Yeah.
And so I mean, these are institutions which have a very, very rich history, and which is why a soldier is always wedded to his platoon. He doesn't care about anything else. I mean, he's fighting for his platoon's honor, nothing more, nothing less.
Seriously, man, those of you earning great corporate wages and grumbling about the fact that you have to have 3 hours in traffic, try and live the life of somebody who serves on a submarine, who deals with 50-degree temperatures, and who has to find an air conditioning vent which leaks out a little bit of cool air and puts their gadda there and manages to get some sleep while they're in the middle of keeping themselves and everybody else alive while they defend our nation.
Literally, Mayur, literally 5-6 inches, above their nose is the other bunk. I mean, they have.
Remember?
It's like a 8 inches kind of space where they sleep. So you can't even turn around. You just have to lie on your back and sleep, and that's how they do it. And they do it to days on end.
Yeah. I remember we had gone to the submarine and we shot in Mumbai as well, at the Mumbai dock where the submarine was parked. And it was fascinating. I mean, the thing that I'll never forget is the hot bunking system they have. So they have 1/3 the number of beds as compared to the number of people they have. So the shifts are divided into 3, and every 8 hours a new shift takes over so you can stay fresh. And every 8 hours, one guy goes up to another bunk and shakes the guy. That guy gets off and starts getting ready, and this guy crawls into that bunk and goes to sleep. So the bunks are occupied 24/7 all day long as the ship is there. And these heroes, I mean, there's no other word for it. Yeah, these heroes can be underwater in the dark, in that 200, 300 meters underwater, in their submarines for days on end, without any light, in a little iron tube with low lighting to conserve battery. And that is just so difficult. I mean, we were there for 3 hours and all of us were sort of claustrophobic here.
Did you fit in a bunk?
No.
Are you crazy? No way.
I barely fit into that, the hole where you enter the submarine from. I got stuck there also.
So this email is from the wonderful Ashok Vasudevan. Ashok says, "Dear Rocky, Mayur, Abhinandan and Prashant, hello again.
Hello.
Equals podcast has become such a staple that I wake up every Wednesday and Sunday and wait for my Apple Podcast notification. I plan my jog around 11 a.m. CEST just to make sure that I have podcast available to listen to when jogging. I felt like sharing my experience of a trip to a state that you have not yet covered on the podcast, so here it is. In July 2014, I took a trip to Sikkim with my cousin and some friends. We planned to go by road from Kolkata to Gangtok. I flew into Kolkata a couple of days ahead, as it had been many years since I visited the city with my parents and sister. I love walking, did that most of the day, and also used the metros and trams as hop-on, hop-off service. Went to Havda, Kalighat, Victoria, Park Street, Jorasanko, Thakurbari, and many more places. My friends flew in later and we had some amazing lunch with fish and crabs at Bhojohari Mona. We picked up Mishti Doi and clay pot of rasgullas from KC Das and a big box of sandesh from Balram Malik. For some reason, I thought it would
be...
ये
email लिख रहा है कि हमारी जान ले रहा है. How can you say all those things in one go? I can't breathe anymore.
Very dirty email.
Very bad email.
For some reason, I thought it would be intelligent to book the bus to Siliguri in the evening before the trip, and hence ended up in the last row of an overnight bus that was perhaps living its final days. Sleep evaded us, and after getting a sound hearing from the other passengers about us speaking loudly, we decided to salvage the situation and the clay pot by gorging onto the amazing rasgullas at midnight. After some nice hot piping chai and biscuits at Siliguri bus stand, the next morning, we took a minibus ride to Gangtok. After a lovely long 4-hour drive, we reached our hotel situated at the start of MG Marg, the most happening part of the city. The view of Kanchenjunga from the terrace in the morning, the evenings with music, lights, and the great food were unforgettable. It was the first time I tasted thenthuk, a thicker, creamier version of the Tibetan thukpa with flattened wheat noodles. In the evening, we tried Tongba, a millet-based beer. Oh yes, I'll never forget that. It's a smelly one, right? Wasn't this the smelly one, boys?
Oh, Tungba?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, it's not
this
smelly.
is that the fermented barley beer that we had in Darjeeling
I
on
remember it
Hooker
smelled
Road.
it had a toe jam smell. Yeah. It's consumed in a unique way. It is served in a bamboo container, also called tongba, with boiling water added to the brim. It is left untouched for 5 or 10 minutes and then consumed through a bamboo straw with holes on the side acting as a filter. The next day, we took a taxi to Rumtek Monastery with a characteristic taxi driver who seemed annoyed that many Bengali tourists arrive in summer and keep asking, Borof dikhao Borof. The Karpas in this monastery wear and protect a black hat that is said to fly away unless held down by hand or in a box. The next 3 days, we visited Chungthang, Lachin, Lachung, Yumthang, 3/4 of the way to Guru Dongbar, and returned as the roads are frozen and unsafe for driving. I hope to visit the lake the next time. We had a friend who worked for the Human Development Report cell at Sikkim CM's office and managed to get permits to visit the Upper Zongu Tribal Reserve. We were hosted by the amazing Tashi, who set up a homestay for our group in his farmhouse. It was one of life's best experiences ever. We lived together with them as their family, talking, laughing, singing, cooking, hiking, riding, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We learned to make veg and meat dumplings and also filled up on churpi, dal bhat, veg and meat soups, and some really hot chilies. Sorry, Mayur, I don't know the Scoville rating. Locally grown oranges and bananas. I also remember having an interesting dumpling without a filling for breakfast. During our time there, we talked about their day-to-day life, jobs, family, finance, forest, trees, nature, songs, stories, history, culture, food, languages, and so on. We learned to sing a song about the importance of the mountain Kanchenjunga that went Konchenchu Bomsa Karbonka Koyusa Ni Mayaliya.
Okay, Niku, okay.
He could have put down the song for you to sing. Don't sing it, man. You're even worse than me.
So he's put the lyrics, so I added my Anu Malik touch. He's doing the YouTube video of his singing is there, which is really nice. And this is what it sounds like.
But not bad.
Maybe Rocky can try singing this with his superb singing and improv skills on the podcast. It was a wonderful trip with lots of different experiences. I would definitely recommend Sikkim as a travel and food destination. I would love to hear about your experiences while traveling in Sikkim in one of the upcoming podcasts. Thank you once again and love you all. And guys, have you seen the pictures Ashok has sent? Man, those are some wonderful pictures.
First one, man. I think, what is that? The Kanchenjunga. It's a black and white. What a beautiful image. Yeah.
It's totally beautiful, yeah. I mean, I can add my Anu Malik inspired song. Hum Kanchenjunga ja rahe hain. We're leaving. Hum Sikkim pahunch gaye hain. We're reaching. Hey, lovely. Such nice, simple songs. So much joy and happiness. Oh, but yeah, those images are quite something else, man. Absolutely beautiful. We've been to the monastery that you sent us. We hung around over there. We also got some nice images.
That Sikkim episode will have gone out by the time this episode is out. So Ashok, I'm sure you would have heard about and seen the newsletter of our lovely images also at Sikkim and me sitting with the chappals.
Super, but Ashok, thank you for sharing that story, man. It's lovely. Yeah. I mean, that's the excitement of traveling in India. A rickety bus, get off, hot cup of tea at a small little bus stand somewhere and go on to your destination. Great people, meeting people, having experiences that you never had before. And that's the beauty of having a country with so many cultures, so much food, so many different people, so many lifestyles, so many things to eat, so many things to drink. So please, I think I'm going to take this opportunity again to say to everyone listening out there, don't try and unify this country and make everything the same. Our languages, our dresses, our foods, these are great wealth of this nation. And if you try and unify them and say everybody must speak one language, everybody must wear one clothes, everybody must eat one kind of food, then you are a evil villain and you deserve to be, those 5 jewels deserve to be taken, deserve to be zapped and turned into dust and slowly blow away in the wind.
I agree with everything Rocky has said, except that romanticizing rickety state transport bus is not my idea of travel.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry.
You hate them while you're doing it, but then you always remember it for the rest of your life. Yeah.
No, of course. In any travel,
least your spine
in any travel, it's always the things that go wrong that make it memorable. You always remember that years later. That's what you're smiling about, laughing about, telling a story about. It's not like I had that perfect holiday. I mean, there's no story there. So to that extent, that's fine. But there can be many things that can go wrong, even if you drive up yourself. It's
Next
India
time I go on holiday and I'm not having a good time, I'll hit myself on the head.
Don't worry about things going wrong. Things will go wrong. This is India. So if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. But rickety bus is not a way to travel.
No, you're absolutely right, Prashant. I mean, I remember going for these trips all over India and then making friends with Mayur and Prashant and Nikku. I mean, horrifying, yeah. But now when I think back,
absolutely. Now that is what memory is made of.
Yeah.
Right?
My nose may look perfect, but inside it is broken a bit on the left. And this happened because I was going from the UP interstate bus, the overnight bus that used to go from Delhi to Dehradun. And it was freezing and I just laid down on that last big seat.
The long seat, yeah.
The long seat. And the highway back then, I'm talking about the early 90s, maybe 92, 93. And it went over, some huge pothole. And before I didn't know, I basically woke up on the floor of the bus with chilkas and whatever ganda jo bhi rubbing my face in it and blood coming down. And I realized I had taken a toss, fallen off on my face, and till date my septum is deviated. So yeah, that's what rickety
amongst other things.
That is not the only thing that's deviated inside you, Nikku.
Yes, there of course, many things are deviated inside you. But I have a deviated septum too, and that's because of my riding with Mayur in the same vehicle. Yeah. Every time he would fart, we'd have to sort of stick our noses out. And I think that toxic stuff that we were inhaling, I think gave us all a deviated septum.
Yes, we can write many theses on many things, including what are more dangerous, vegetarian farts or meat eaters' farts. And I think there is complete agreement by everybody that vegetarian matter.
Let's not go down the scatological.
Veg matter decomposing is dangerous.
Vegetarian there. I'm the only vegetarian there. You guys are just picking on me. I think meat eaters, definitely.
ये भी ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही है. So, अच्छा, stop this disgusting conversation. Yeah, move on.
Yeah, really, man.
But please tell us something more about Sikkim that you remember, that you find the drive that we took up there, which was, I remember, it was a beautiful drive. We've spoken at length about the monastery
and about the lady cop.
And the most beautiful policewoman in India was in Sikkim.
Yeah, but I have an insight for everybody that travels from the sort of central, north, south of India and goes to the east and goes to Sikkim. Remember, guys, this is a casteless, classless society. So you can't go there and be like, I am upper caste, I will sit on this table and I am Saab and you are not Saab. Everybody is equal, boss, which is the way it should be in the world. So when you sit down somewhere, the waiter is equal to you, the driver is equal to you, the owner of the cafe is equal to you, the richest man in Sikkim, probably Danny Denzongpa, is also equal to you. And nobody is better and nobody is worse and everybody needs to be together. So please remember that, a lot of people, especially a lot of tribal people, a lot of people from the Northeast that are not sort of, like they don't look like us, they're still tribals. And not just Northeast, everywhere across India, they have a lot of pride and they offer you a lot of respect. And that's what you need to return. You need to offer them back respect, and then you can really enjoy a holiday because they are the most sincere and wonderful and caring people to be guests of all across.
With all this equity, how can we enjoy a holiday? Yeah?
What do you mean? Equity, equality. Yeah.
This is Prabjot from Sydney again. Heard your show on Sikkim and couldn't resist share my recent experience in Sikkim. I celebrated the start of this year with a road trip in Sikkim, 8 days, with a couple of high school friends. I am now 36 years old. It is an amazingly beautiful state. I and my friends had a great time living in a homestay with a local family. We went around Gangtok, Pelling, Kanchenjunga Falls, Rawangla, Nathula Pass. I'm sharing some pics. Of course, Prabjot sent pics. The best part of our trip, apart from the wonderful nature and people, was an evening at a local festival, mostly a Daru Fest, in Pelling. Here we drank lots of home country brewed, including Tongba, local organic wine.
Toma.
One day, if you guys tried Tongba, later I found out from my Nepalese friends that it is a very Nepalese thing. Saddest part was that even in modern India and in Sikkim, we have a shrine temple such as Baba Harbhajan, an ex-army man, which propagates irrationality and superstition. Keep up the great work. Hope to join you somewhere on the road, Prabjot. Prabjo, thanks, but this irrationality and superstition is everywhere. You will not find a place that doesn't have it. So on that, all places are equal. But this Tongba that everyone's talking about, I'm not sure if it's Nepalese, but there is some version of it all along the northeast. I remember, which was the first state we hit when we went from Shantiniketan, that dhaba where we had in these wooden mugs. That's belly beer, fermented.
Yeah, that's Darjeeling, the hot and stimulating cafe on Hokar Road in Darjeeling.
So we had it there. We had some version of it in Ladakh. They call it Chang over there, right?
Right.
I mean, see, the rice and barley fermented wines are everywhere in this country.
Also wheat.
So yeah, so if you go to
Also-
Nagaland, I mean, they have Zutho and they have different names for it, and it's all over. But they're absolutely fabulous. They're fermented. They're healthy. They're good for you. They give you a nice buzz. I mean, you can go to Kerala and have toddy. It's all the same. It's all natural, so it's all good. Not to worry too much about it, and not to get drunk. Just enjoy a few drinks and party on.
There's the man who couldn't give us a shot straight, either after the toddy shop sequence or in Jaisalmer.
I never give a shot straight, my friend. It's my basis. I am
No,
always
you too much only
intoxicated.
blow out your mind.
I'm
Well,
intoxicated with life.
But toddy doesn't smell like these fermented rice beers. I mean, toddy has an okay smell. These ones have a really strong smell, man.
All
I
fermented
don't know about
food.
Tongba, but Chang doesn't smell, yeah.
No,
is
Chang
pretty
is
neutral.
mostly rice again, although they do have.
They made it for us at Sarak Dao.
Yeah.
Nirak Pullu.
Nirak Pulu.
It wasn't smelling.
No, it wasn't smelling. I mean, he just sort of recomposed it right then. That wheat. It wasn't rice based. Mayur, the Chang in Ladakh is wheat based because they don't have rice there. So they make it with wheat. But it can be made with barley, it can be made with wheat, it can be made with rice. I mean, any grain is basically fermenting the water.
Nico, it's your deviated septum.
Or
That's why it all smells funny.
Or maybe what's the song I'm looking for? तेरी सांसों में मुझे सुगंध आती है तेरी सांसों की मयूर.
मैंने नहीं सुना ये गाने को.
No matter what, your smell remains with me. So this Abhinav's email has a very, very interesting title. It says, "Food gods, please accept my patronage." Abhinav, accept it.
Thank you. Your patronage is fondly accepted with a glass of Tongba.
Abhinav says, I believe there is one more thing that rings true about Rocky and Mayur. They don't find food. It's the other way. Food finds them. I feel so deeply connected to the Homp team whenever I listen to your journeys on the podcast or see your shows. I partake in your experiences and relish every bit of it. I deeply admire the zeal and effort with which you guys explore every state of our country and bring to realization how diverse our culture and cuisines are. Being born and raised in a defense family, I've had the opportunity to travel and explore several places as my dad got posted to different Air Force stations. Some of my most cherished road journeys with my family happened as we moved due to these transfers. Homp has been a steady companion over the years and has been a big inspiration in making me a foodie. I believe nothing binds people like love for food. Your show is a huge testament to the fact that great conversations can center around exploring the delicacies our cities and roads have to offer. During these restricting times of lockdown, your podcast has taken us from the confines of our homes onto a sumptuous tour of our country, letting us soak in memories of your exciting adventures and helping us savor the best each place has to offer. Would love to see you guys back on the road and accompany you, slurping, munching, talking, eating, and laughing on the highways of our great country. Salute to the Homp team. Best regards, Abhinav Upadhyay.
Yeah, baby, from your mouth to God's ears, we will travel again.
Yeah, that's a really sweet email, man. Thank you. And again, the armed forces, what a great contribution they made here. Not just by the servicemen and servicewomen themselves, but also by their children and the way they bring them up and this whole sense of equality and oneness and India being one and all of us being one. I mean, that is the greatest thing about the armed forces here. So, the longer they stay away from all this filth that's going around these days of divisionism and separatism and we are better than you and you are different from us and all that nonsense. I think every true armed forces personnel respects the Constitution above all, respects the laws of this country, and then follows them to the T and sort of believes deep in his or her heart that every Indian is my brother and sister and I will look after each one. And that is the greatness of the armed forces. And that's evident in this young man's mail here that he sent. I mean, it is just so beautiful. The words that he's written are so lovely here. Thank you. I'm touched.
There's so many Fauji kids who listen to our show. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we shall figure that out. But Prashant, you've spent enough time doing Jai Hind. Didn't you guys at one point go and shoot some chef training school somewhere? Or did I go do
We
that?
did. Well,
That was it.
I think one you did in this INS Hamla was one of those, right? Wasn't it?
And
But
then one was
we
in
went to
Bangalore.
Bangalore. We went to Bangalore to the ASC regimental center, the training center there, the training
Correct.
facility.
When they
there.
showed us their
And-
knife skill, they carved out all those beautiful.
Yeah,
They showed us
yeah.
like the carving courses.
So all army chefs, in all messes, they've all undergone some level of training in Bangalore at the ASC center.
That's why most mess food tastes the same. But did you see any overweight chefs or even chefs are thin in the army?
No, everyone's thin. I mean, everyone's fit. They may be a little bit overweight, but nobody's obese for sure. They don't have hanging tummies.
They made a really good double ka meetha there, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was some other dessert that the chef there made for us. I can't remember now what
It was
fabulous.
Floating Islands, it was called. It was a little egg white dessert made with floating egg whites on top. And things like the crown roast that people have forgotten. The crown roast is an entire rack of goat meat, of lamb that has been cooked as a crown. You bend the entire rack of ribs around and you cook it as a crown with stuffing inside. And it is an absolutely beautiful old British colonial dish, which the Indians sort of loved and adopted. And then, of course, the cold coffee. Ask anyone from NDA or IMA or any training organization in the country, in the armed forces, what is the one thing that they would, die to have? And the answer will be cold coffee, because it is cold, it is fresh, it's delicious, and it's completely Indian. And it's not like the coffee that you have in Starbucks and all that nonsense. It's mostly milk with a little bit of sugar and a little bit of coffee and a little bit of water and ice. And it is so good there. I mean, I used to sneak into the IMA, I remember, because a lot of the instructors there were related to me at different times. And the one thing that we used to have in the evening, I used to be like, bas cold coffee pila do yaar, aur kuch nahi chahiye zindagi mein.
Also, their custard with jelly and fruit, is one of those classic.
Rex jelly.
Rex jelly and kaun sa custard, some
Brown and Polson custard.
down and Polson custard with fruit cut into it, fresh fruit or tinned fruit put into it. Yum, always. I mean, a real killer dish.
Mayur, has the Goa restaurants and all opened, or is Goa still under full lockdown?
No restaurant. Delivery is allowed, but no restaurants have opened. But there's some good restaurants doing delivery and stuff. But otherwise, it's a lot busier here than in most other cities, I think.
Are you going running on the beach and all?
No, I can't run, man. I've done my back end, and before that, a car drove over my foot. So for the last 3 weeks, I've had zero exercise.
Oh,
So-
well done.
Oh boy.
But you can. There are a lot of people that are walking on the beach and stuff, and then there's lots of space here for exercising if you want to. So, like I said, we've been really, really lucky in Goa. Now the last 3 days, it's been pouring. So you really can't get out and do that.
Reminds me, guys, we haven't done Goa yet, so we'll save the full episode of all our adventures in Goa later. But when it starts raining in Goa, it won't even slow down for a bit. I remember we had to do one piece to camera. You remember we were driving to the airport and we had to do the final shot. So, the evening before it had become very tired. I mean, we'd become very tired. We did a lot of shooting. So I had said, the closing shot, we'll take it in the morning while driving to the airport. 5 minutes lagenge. We'll set up the camera. You guys say your piece with the ocean in the background. And in the morning, woke up and it was pouring. We said, "Theek hai, it'll stop for 5 minutes. Abhi 3 ghante hain." And bloody we drove and we just parked ourselves next to the ocean. It says, "Kab rukegi, sali ruki nahi yaar." It kept raining. Remember, rocks mein ho, we were parked there waiting for the rain to stop.
It is incredible, yeah. But listen, before we move on from the ASC, I just have to, all of you Fauji kids, all the soldiers out there, all the officers listening, I just want to tell you that we should take a moment's silence to give a salute to the tipsy pudding. The tipsy
That's
pudding
what
is,
it's called.
Oh my God, yeah. The tipsy pudding is unforgettable. Ask me about it, yeah. I mean, NDA, tipsy pudding is the ultimate, and I think each guy in the ASC mess is taught how to make tipsy pudding when they go out. And what a dessert it is. I mean, in today's day and age...
Is it got daru in it?
No, it's a long story. It doesn't necessarily have daru in it, but just suffice to say, let us give it one big salute and remember about it for the rest of our life. Because it's like custard, and it's like a cake, and it's got nuts in it, and it's got bananas and apples and grapes, and tipsy they put
pudding.
chiku when they get it, and they put like orange juice, and it's like Yeah, that's the only thing I can say about it. It's like,
All the good stuff put
all
together.
the good stuff, man.
This is a very interesting email. It says, "Hi Rocky, Mayur, Abhinandan and Prashant. My name is Shashank and I'm from Bangalore. I was all of 16 years or so when the first season of Homp was aired. And I was too small and unfortunately don't remember watching any of those seasons. But I watched all the other seasons, including India's Most Haunted. But through these podcast episodes, I was able to experience all the beauty of the states and the craziness of Rocky and Mayur. You guys are the ones who ignited my love for travel and food from a young age. I remember eating at the Kesar Ka Dhaba and oh, what an experience it was. I loved it. I wanted to get to Lucknow and try the kebabs this summer, but the lockdown ruined it. But the podcast made me salivate and I want to get there even more now. Can't wait for the Homp team to get back on the road. Cheers and love, Shashank." Shashank, thank you for that mail. No doubt you shall get there, and hopefully, God willing, the Homp community will get together and make sure even Highway on My podcast becomes a video podcast and not just an audio podcast. But yes, the Lucknow kebab is worth the wait. I guarantee you that. But one thing I would like to say, guys, my nephew keeps watching on this channel, they're rerunning Coast to Coast and Homp Hills. And they're rerunning the same episodes again and again. And I was wondering why they aren't airing. According to me, our first few episodes, they were so much fun. All of us were much younger. There was a certain freshness to it. Many of these places we had discovered. These places hadn't been shown earlier on TV. And we will never see those. You know why?
Why?
Because we are old and blind now?
No.
Okay.
Speak for yourself. मेरी तो रोम से जवानी छलक रही है ठाकुर. आओ कभी हवेली पे. But it's because those were shot on a format which, if they were to show that format today on tape, अब सब HD है. अगर वो DSR 300 वाला tape आज की HD पे दिखाएं, it will look so, you know what I mean? So no one is ever, and nobody is going to spend lakhs of rupees to upgrade an analog format to an HD format. So those episodes are never going to be seen again. Yeah, it breaks my heart. I told my nephew that. I said, you will never see those episodes ever.
Don't say that to your nephew. Just so that all of you know, unlike you lazy good-for-nothing bums, I fought with everybody, and I have a CD of each and every single episode of Highway on my plate. India's Most Haunted, Jai Hind with Rocky and Mayur, and it is stored beautifully in a case which is covered with the cellophane and it is airtight. Whenever you want to see it, come on over. I'll show it to you girls. क्या याद रखोगे तुम भी? किससे पाला पड़ा था?
ऑफिस में तो हमारे पास ही बैकअप पड़ी है, लेकिन it'll never be aired again, Rocky. Can you imagine?
यार अब उससे हम क्या कर सकते हैं? Our job is not to wonder why. Ours is just to do and die. Our national character needs to change a little bit. We are always crying about ये होता तो ऐसे होता तो ऐसे होता तो ये रह गया, ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया, ये नहीं हो सकता, वो नहीं हो सकता. The hell with it, यार. Do whatever you can. जितना खाया मीठा था, जो हाथ ना आया खट्टा है. जो कर सकते हो करो. There you go. There you go.
अंगूर का दाना.
If Niku can sing, anything is possible. So you guys get out there, enjoy whatever little life you can. I mean, who knows? There are 6 meteors that have missed the world today. Any one of them hits and it's the end of the world. So don't worry about the world too much. Just worry about being good to people, smiling, laughing, sharing, caring, eating, drinking, being happy. Because when you go, nobody knows. And before you do, get your shit before the whole before the whole shit house goes up in flames.
This is like Rocky's legendary faux pas when he said, back in the days when I was a little dyke. You remember?
But listen, as far as I was speaking for you, get your shits before the whole kick house goes up in flames. What I wanted to say was get your kicks before the whole shit house goes up in flames. Either way, you know what I'm saying, yaar. Maze karo, चिंता कम करो. चिंता कम करो और लोगों को तंग कम करो. एक दूसरे के साथ प्यार बढ़ाओ. मजे करो.
प्यार बांटते चलो, प्यार बांटते चलो. क्या हिंदू, क्या मुसलमान, हम सब हैं भाई भाई.
I want to say something to Shashank.
Listen, Shashank. I just want to point out that in the new day and age, that song is highly sexist because there are many girls who cannot be my bhai, and that is why that song cannot be played again.
No, you did get the lyrics.
To be noted, my lord.
हम सब हैं भाई भाई, समा भाई. Go ahead, Mayur.
In today's day and age, there is not a single sentence that you can make that people can't take offense with.
No, but I just wanted to say to Shashank, whenever you get down to Lucknow, enjoy the kebabs. But remember, Lucknow is also the city of ambrosial sweets and mithais. the famous Rasmalai and the Malai ki glory of Ram Asre. And I've always found, as has Rocky, when he could remember it, is that if you go to the Chowk and you have some of the nice Pandit Raja Thandai, the special one, you'll find that the Rasmalai and everything else, and maybe even the kebabs taste a lot better. And then send us photos.
If you're still on your feet.
Just remember where you are staying, because all of us went there, a crew of 7. We went there to shoot. We all had one glass of bung. Some of us had 2. Prashant had 3. By the evening, when we came back into the cars, we didn't know where our hotel was or which hotel we were staying in. So we spent about 20 minutes milling around saying, "Yaar, hum reh kahan rahe? Kisi ko pata bhi nahi hotel ka naam." And we were like, "Nahi, humko nahi pata." And our drivers were also drunk. So not only did we have to work our way back to a hotel with guesswork, but we had to drive the drivers around, the people who weren't more drunk than they were.
No, Raja Thandai, you have to be careful. I mean, you have to have a designated driver who knows where to take you after you have had it. Otherwise, you're lost. You'll spend the night on the streets of Lucknow.
Shashank, if you go to Raja Thandai, remember, take somebody along with you who's not going to be drinking Thandai. And 1 or 2 people who will be. Otherwise, there's no fun being smashed on your own. It's always better to be smashed with other people.
So Rohit says, hey, just found out Rocky and Mayur go live regularly on Instagram. I've missed all the previous ones. Can you please upload the video in your Instagram videos, since it might not be possible to watch it live? I wanted to know what each of you would choose for your last meal. I've always been fascinated by this, and my choice of pizza hasn't changed since I was a kid. Love the show. Haven't missed a single episode. Thanks a lot. Regards, Rohit. So boys, just upload your lives so that Rohit can watch them and others.
They're actually there. Some of them are there. Rohit, thanks for writing. Some of them are there on the, if you look at the IGTV bit of the @Rocky and Mayur handle, you'll find some of the lives have been recorded. The rest, they disappear.
So last meal, Prashant, why don't you go first? What would you ask for your last meal?
I'm a simple kind of guy. I think I'd just go with an unlimited helping of kakori kebabs. and some pasandas on the side here. With some rumali roti. Simple, nothing fussy.
Yeah, I would have a light salad, because I don't want to feel all heavy and bloaty while I'm feeling dying.
So, why? I want to throw up on those guys.
मरते समय मेरी आत्मा ऊपर को जानी चाहिए. अगर मैंने अपना रेगुलर मील खा लिया, तो मरने के बाद मैं सीधा यमराज के पास नीचे पहुंच जाऊंगा. Khadak, down into hell. I'll be like, hello devil, what are you doing here? You're like waiting for you to start the barbecue, baby. So a light salad along with a small glass of nimbu pani with a little hint of stevia in it, sugar substitute.
And then you'll start feeling hungry at the guillotine.
At the pearly gates. Why guillotine?
At the pearly.
What do you mean somebody's going to cut my head off? Are you kidding me?
What do you know? I mean...
Prashant is being executed in Victorian France.
So when the hangman is putting that black thing over your head, I mean, you're going to be like, "Bhaiya, kuch aur snack mein de do."
Don't be silly, yaar. You know, I don't understand this concept.
I don't want to die hungry.
When you're being hung, you might as well start very screaming and kicking and biting everybody around. You have one chance in 1,000 of getting away. At least somebody will shoot you and put you out of your misery.
Now you know why I've always been kicking and screaming and biting people.
Bilkul, yaar, ye sharafat se getting hung quietly, just standing there, letting a guy put a thing over your head and then...
Oh, don't worry, baby, I don't...
That's not called quietly, that's called with dignity.
Oh, dignity kahi baar mein, yaar. Dignity se kya le raha hu?
I think if you're hung, you should tell everybody.
Yes. Well, Mayur, your last meal?
Yeah, especially if you have a hood on when you're being hung.
Mayur will go with paneer, I'm sure.
नहीं मेरा लास्ट मील होगा अमृतसर से पूरी लॉन्जी और साइड पे पुट्टू कडला एंड देन अ जायंट थाली फ्रॉम probably Gypsy in Jodhpur and then dosa.
I'll send you Ahuja Lassi. I'll send you Ahuja Lassi also.
It is one meal, yeah. Dosas from Vidyarthi Bhavan. Rocky said Ahuja Lassi. Chalo, I'll have a cup of Ahuja Lassi also. Some pyaz kachori from Udaipur. That was my favorite.
It was one dish, yeah. This is not like some kind of buffet.
It's not one dish. He said your last meal.
He said last meal.
You can't change.
Listen, when it comes to matters
okay, so let's be realistic. Who's going to give you a... No, just be realistic and pick one thing. No?
Because they're all being hung.
Yeah, this guy's asking me for my last meal before I die. You're telling me to be realistic. What the hell?
Prashant.
If I'm going to imagine that I'm going to die, then I'm going to imagine that I'm going to die very happy and well fed.
Prashant, if you're being realistic, remember they will never take me alive, my friend. Never.
Okay, then I'm coming back to this question again.
Yeah, no, he's just jealous. His answer was the equivalent of the song. ये जीवन है कबाब पसंदा. I mean,
ये एक रुमाली टरक गया इसका मामला. Okay. Your second last meal is over. Now is your last meal.
Go Prashant again. That was a snack.
So I would add Amritsari kulcha to this. Okay. And I would add I think that Amritsari fish is also quite nice. And I would add Mishti Doi, which I love. I would add, that fish that they do in banana leaf with a lot of mustard in Bengal. What is it called? Patrani machi or something like that. I mean, I would.
Correct.
Yeah, the one that comes wrapped up in a leaf.
Wrapped up in a banana leaf.
Yeah, go on.
I would go with that. I would go with
Kashmir.
Oh yeah, man, the whole Vaswan. I mean, the whole Vaswan. Why not? Now, why be realistic? I think that's about it. Yeah. I don't like to waste food, you see.
अब कैदी को आप फांसी नहीं लटका सकते क्यों? क्योंकि वो इतना मोटा हो गया कि रस्सी टूट जाए.
Oh yeah, absolutely the Vaswan.
Listen, वो तो सब ठीक है. तूने भेद की माछर, भेद की पातुरी वगैरह भी सब कुछ हो गया तेरा. That's called भेद की पातुरी, by the way. I mean, I prefer it. I prefer भेद की, but you can have any other fish that you like in your paturi style. But what about Rajasthan? Yeah, your wife is from Rajasthan. You haven't asked for anything from Rajasthan?
No, Rajasthanis don't know how to make food. Yeah. They make good 1 or 2 meat dishes. Rajasthan vegetarian food is eminently forgettable.
Abhi lockdown hai. If your wife throws you out of your house, you won't even have anybody else who'll take you.
My wife agrees with me.
चलो ठीक है. So my last meal would be, I'd say, मुझे मारने का आदेश किसने दिया?
उसका कौन?
डॉक्टर डैंग ने. डॉक्टर डैंग का कलेजा कच्चा. Followed by Britannia cake.
Oh God. The same thing that gave you diabetes. Now you're going to get back at it.
Niku, how much of that Britannia cake would you have eaten? Yeah, that horrible,
if I think about it,
sticky sweet fruit infested with the neon green and neon orange fruits embedded in it. Like there is nothing natural about it. You should eat the paper. Yeah,
preservatives. He would leave it for days in the sun on the dashboard.
Which is why he was eating it. It's always fresh.
The wrapper is healthier than the cake. You should eat the wrapper rather than eat the cake. But
after setting fire to the wrapper and inhaling the smoke.
Honestly, until Hump happened, I did not know that you could leave a food on the dashboard overnight and then drive through in the sun and still eat it the next day and it would taste the same. I was very impressed.
Miracle.
I
think over 7, 8, 9 years, I must have had about 300 of them, I guess. I'm guessing, probably.
300 to मैंने खा लिया होगा तेरे चक्कर में यार. You must have had at least 7, 800.
मेरी गलती नहीं है, पड़ा हुआ मैं खा लेता हूँ.
Saugat says, I guess it's Bengali, so it may be Shogoto. This is from a subscriber. Frankly speaking, I have heard of Highway on My Plate for the first time. After subscribing to News Laundry, I started looking up the net for episodes and found one season on Amazon Prime. I binge watched the season and enjoyed it thoroughly. My 7-year-old daughter has enjoyed it even more. She's become a big fan of Rocky and Mayur. Now she's asking for more. Till you guys hit the road again, hope you do that soon. Please suggest where I can watch the other seasons. The video quality is not that great on YouTube. I'm from West Bengal, settled in Hyderabad. Looking forward to the Andhra episode of Highway on My podcast for the next road trip. You guys are fantastic. Keep rocking. Please share the links through email if you're not reading the mail. Cheers, Shogat. Well, we are reading the mail, Shogat. Unfortunately, other than the shows, the series on Amazon Prime and the one that they are rerunning on Good Times, My Good Times on television.
He doesn't know that. So tell him, you can, Shogat, you can watch the Highway on My Plate Coast to Coast series on My Good Times. I think it's channel 762 on Tata Sky, if you have Tata Sky. And you can watch it there, and they're playing about 5 or 6 times a day. They're rerunning the episodes. So please pick one, and the Coast to Coast series is a lot of fun. You should watch that. It's beautiful.
And Home Hills. They're also running Home Hills. So you can watch those.
Home Hills, so Amazon Prime is always there whenever you feel like it. And our basic intention was always to get 7-year-olds to understand, because they're the ones with clean hearts and clean minds and open ears and open eyes. They're the only ones who we can really touch and reach out to and say, here is a human being who is worthy of being one of us. Laughter, food, fun, love, joy, happiness. So 7-year-olds are our prime audience. The rest of you, we'll fit you in when we can. But the true joy of Highway on My Plate is to watch a kid watching it and become a child again. And that's what Highway on My Plate is here.
When my nephew heard our recording the other day and he said that you guys will hit the road again, I said, yeah, because he was very young when we were doing the last show. He doesn't even remember when we went and visited them in Kodaikanal. Remember?
Yeah.
When we went, he was still crawling around. He says, can I come along? I'll carry the tripod. I said, Munna, tripod. Who's going to carry kar payega? But man, kids love the show. Yeah, they are just. I mean, he has a newfound respect for Rocky and Mayur suddenly after watching so many episodes, and he's such a pain in the ass. Like they're rerunning the same thing, yeah, like 3 times. So we've just watched this like 2 weeks ago. I said, Tix, we watch this. So what? Let's watch it again. I was like, okay, dude, you watch it.
He's got good taste, man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Young people are the future of India, and that's the great thing. The good thing with young people is they're sincere and genuine. So they will always like sincere and genuine stuff like we do.
Thanks, uncle.
You're welcome, beta. Tum kya yaad rakhoge?
Rocky is really talking like an old grandfather today.
Old grandfather, yeah, beta. Tum log rahe to tum old grandfather respect dikhaya karo zyada thoda.
Okay, uncle.
Yeah, I said, Niku, you can bring him along to carry the tripod because from what I remember, I have great memories of a lot of times that people who were supposed to be carrying the tripods couldn't carry the tripods. And I'll tell you one specific episode. We were shooting in Kashmir for Jai Hind, and we had to do the shot, and there was a very steep hill, and Babadeep decided that he would bring both the tripods, and everybody went off, and he went back to get down there, and then he was trying to walk up with both the tripods. He was literally almost parallel with the slope of the hill, just so that he wouldn't fall over backwards, to the extent that I had to go around the back and like push him up the whole way.
But Sogat, since you are in Hyderabad, we will be coming to the Andhra episode shortly. But one of our most spectacular shoots, and it was such a challenge, we'll talk about it at length when we get to the Andhra episode, was at Kakinada when the fishing boats and the trawlers had just come in. I mean, we could have put a 1-hour episode with the kind of stuff we saw there, but we'll talk about it when we get to Andhra. It was quite an episode. So Fahad says a big hello to Abhinandan, Prashant, and the biggest and most entertaining people in food and travel in the world, not just India, Rocky and Mayur.
Wow.
Hey, Fahad.
Woohoo! Good taste.
I couldn't listen to the last few episodes as I was quite busy, so binge listened to them over the long weekend. While all the episodes are brilliant as always, the Haryana one struck a special chord with me. I pursued my engineering from Delhi College of Engineering near Rohini, and Moorsal used to be a regular hangout. The podcast took me back to the times when we used to fit in 5-6 people in the back seat, 2 in front, making it 7-8, of a friend's old Santro, and drive the 40-odd kilometers to Gulshan. As much as the parathas are brilliant, our journeys used to be the high point. Even in the summer, we used to drive without ACs, as that would increase petrol consumption, and hence the per head amount. With open windows, we used to go singing Dil Chahta Hai and all sorts of road trip songs at the top of our voices without caring for the real world that awaited us. There was a time during our final year in 2015-16 when we used to visit twice a week, and the waiters there started recognizing us and knew our orders. Those were beautiful times, and I feel very regretful of the fact that I haven't been to Gulshan since 2017. Another thing which I'd like to share with you guys, I'm also working on doing a food podcast of my own with a couple of friends, and would love for you guys to listen to it as soon as it's out. I will certainly mail you guys the links because I don't think anyone else could give better feedback. I wanted to write this mail yesterday to wish you all Eid Mubarak from my and my family's side, but was a bit caught up. So here's wishing all of you an Eid Mubarak, and I extend an invitation to you guys to come to my house in Noida for sevaiyan and other Eid delicacies of your choice whenever the lockdown is lifted. Attached a picture here of my collection of food books that I'm very proud of. It is missing Homp 1, but it's out of stock everywhere. Also attaching pics of Thaggu Ke Laddu that you discussed on the UP episode, which my aunt got for me around this time last year. Please carry on the good work. The podcast is a godsend for all food lovers. Lots of love from my side to all of you. Fahad.
Wow.
Yeah,
Happy
lovely mail. Yeah. Belated Eid Mubarak, Fahad. And thank you, man. That's a beautiful email with a beautiful sentiment. And for free food, why Noida, my friend? We shall come to Mars, if you so call us. Along with that joker, what's his name? The one who's taking me to Mars. What's his name? The millionaire? Basmatu.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. यार मेरे को याद नहीं था उसका नाम. तो तू फहद आप खिलाने वाले बनो मियां, हम कहीं भी पहुंच जाएंगे. So lots of love. Thank you for that beautiful mail. Yes, those are some of the fondest memories that all of us have. You know, just friends, an open road, no plans, nothing to keep you down. Just an open road ahead of you, having fun, getting out there, eating, drinking, enjoying yourself with your friends. That's the greatest feeling in the world, man. Always here. So I'm so glad that you did that in college. And, you know, wherever you're here and if you're ever going, hop on board, man. We'll put the AC on also for you. क्या याद रखेगा तू?
अभी हमारा producer बंदिश हो गया है.
Look forward to your podcast, of course. All the best with that.
We'll hear
The
that
more the
for
merrier.
sure.
We all need stories.
So thanks, Fahad, for that. Now we shall end with this one mail. But before I get to Nikunj and his journeys that he's telling us about, and also the real story about Scandal Point, I'd like to tell all of you, as long as the lockdown is on and there are restrictions to travel and you can't get on the highway, we will bring the highway to you through Highway on my podcast. The idea of this podcast is to create a community of the lovers of food and travel and friends, so that when we can and the pandemic is behind us, we get Rocky, Mayur, Prashant and Nikku back on the road like the good old days, like the first time we drove out to Murthal back in 2006 or 7, I forget what year it was. And we shall revisit those places. And so what if those episodes aren't available on high definition cameras? We shall reshoot it on high definition bloody cameras. And in our journey across the country, we shall have specific stopovers where this community will celebrate with us and we shall recount our travels. So that is the idea. This time, the journey will not just be the four of us. It will be a journey of the four of us for a few hundred kilometers, then a pit stop at a city, and we shall have a get-together of the people of this community from that city and another. And we'll try to do at least 10 or 12 pit stops. So do sign up for the newsletter. Stay a part of this journey, and let's make this happen together. So this is one of the first crowd-funded shows that everybody is a part of in some way or the other. And we'll have episodes of those evenings or afternoons with all the hompers too.
मैं तो inspired हो गया यार. What inspiring words. मेरा चना है अपनी मर्जी का भाई मर्जी का दुश्मन है खुद गर्जी का. You remember that song? It's from Kranti.
Write to us at homp2020@gmail.com. I repeat, homp2020@gmail.com with your food stories, your travel stories, what you think we should see, how you think we should plan our trip once this whole horrible pandemic is over. Or you can just click on the link wherever you're listening to this podcast. There's a link under that will open out a form. You fill out that form and you will automatically have subscribed to the newsletter. And that newsletter gives you photographs and some other behind the scene information about the making of the wonderful shows that all of us have made together across channels, across the country and everywhere else. So this mail is from Nikunj. Nikunj says, "Hi Abhinandan, although I have been watching newslaundry for about 5 years, I recently subscribed to you guys for the amazing content that you've constantly been producing over years, and also to get rid of the tag of being called a Mufat Khor." So it worked, Nikunj. Thanks, man. Thanks for subscribing and paying to keep news free. Because like I always say, when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. So here's my 2-bit about your last show on Himachal. As a fellow mountain traveler and someone who hails from Uttarakhand, I was a bit disappointed you left the show at the major commercial places in Himachal itself. It would have been great had you guys talked a little bit about the other areas too. Let me not get into the uncharted territory of Lahore and Spiti. Here's something interesting for you about what Mayur and Rocky said regarding Scandal Point. There's another theory by a professor of Punjab University in which he opines of King Rajendra Singh, who had eloped with the Viceroy's daughter, and not Maharaja Bhupender Singh. I'll add the link at the bottom so you can also read the story about, so you can also read about the mystery story. And Nikunj has given a Hindustan Times article. But anyway, please continue making such amazing content for us. In fact, traveling across India with the cause has been a consistent plan of mine, and for every episode that I hear, it only amplifies my inspiration. I'm sure someone among you, or for that matter, everyone bearing you, Abhinandan, sorry for being a bit judgmental here, must have traveled in the interiors of Himachal Pradesh. I'd love to hear some of your stories, if any. I'm adding some pictures that I took en route to Spiti last year. Lastly, Abhinandan, interestingly, we both share a common nickname and also the state we come from. The only slight difference is you are a great host, and I hope the same for myself one day. Hope you enjoy the pictures, Nikunj. Nikunj, we saw your pictures and so many bloody pictures, man. Thank you for those. And I'm sure you will be better than I ever can hope to be. I'm sure you're a young man who is yet to realize his full potential. But I can speak for myself. I am quite embarrassed to say this, considering I've traveled to pretty much every place in this country. I've never been to Lahore Spiti. I don't know how we missed that, man.
They don't have dhabas there, no?
We could never find the wrong weather for it.
But we'll do that now, yeah. I mean, now I think when you're working with a television channel, you also have to sort of convince them about where you're going and how you're going to go and all of those things. You know, the budget plays a role. I mean, if you're going to be traveling for 4 days and getting one episode, it doesn't become feasible. But now, if you're going to do it on our own, then we're our own people. Yeah, we'll do whatever we want to do. We'll go there.
Prashant, we went for holidays when we went to Ladakh. We go. How come we never went to Lahore?
Because I mean, for me, every time I've crossed the Rohtang, it's always been to go to Leh. Somehow I've never turned right at Koksar and gone into Spiti.
Yeah, I just want to point out to all your romantics, number one, whether it's Rupi or Pupi, it makes no difference after 2 Patialas. So don't forget about that. But, what can you say about quiet places, faraway places, lesser known places? This show was about eateries on the highways of India.
Yeah, there were no dhabas
eateries.
there.
If you go to the Jivanal Valley, or you go to the Sange Valley, or you go to the Great Himalayan National
Park, the Parvati Valley,
which is beautiful. Place. Yeah, I mean, what do you do there? You can eat at one place. It takes 15 hours to go, 15 hours to come back, and you're just talking about one dhaba. We're on tight budget, so there's always a constraint. There's always a reason why things happen and things don't. I mean, I would love to go to a faraway place and take 2 days to get there and shoot one shot of the only villager that will make you a cup of tea and some roti and give it to you. But you're not going to enjoy watching 4 episodes of sitting quietly with the wind blowing in my hair. So that becomes a little restrained, and finances are always a problem when you're on the road. You have to shoot one episode every day, every 2 days, 2 episodes in 3 days. So the pressure is tremendous. And, keeping that in mind, it's very hard to, satisfy our travel cravings as such. So we make the most of it. I mean, we have fun, we enjoy ourselves, we keep it positive. But this is not an easy job. So if you're going to be a potential host, trust me, buddy, if you land up, driving out to the Parvati Valley and showing people the great snows, etc., and showing them 4 shows on it, because your budget is going to be 10 days, it's going to take you to get up there and back, then you're going to have a very short career here. So you'll have to think of very innovative ways to do it. But this show was about highway food. This show was a tight budget. This show was about the variety of foods. This show was about culture, about people. So it had to be on the cities and in the open roads. So keeping in mind the limitations, we did the best we could.
I think the way it can happen is if again, I mean, inshallah, if we travel again, if camping becomes a part of this, because it was not in that earlier season. I mean, Highway on My Plate in its original form, camping was not part of the mandate from the channel.
No, but who's going to take that much time off here? If you want to go to I went to the Great Himalayan National Park and I spent 17 days there.
No, then there is something. No, I mean, then there are 4 people or 6 people or 8 people in that crew. I mean, you're setting up tents, you're making food. It's you can fill up time, right? You can fill up time, but Highway on My Plate was not that show. Highway on My Plate was really about finding new places.
So in an ideal world, can we, like, if somebody comes and says, I will give you funding and go and make the show you want, you can make an S show. Like, you can do 13 episodes on the extremes, like the hottest place, the coldest place. But then you go and do not only the food, then you have to do everything else. Like, what is life like? What do they do? What are the little tricks that you have to do? How do you find water in a place?
You just broaden the canvas. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, dudes, you can make a show.
ऐसे भेज दो, आप कहीं भी जाने को तैयार हैं, कुछ भी बनाने को तैयार हैं.
At the risk of sounding immodest, the 4 of us with the camera and the road in front of us can make a show from Bangholia in Shit Creek Central. The thing is that when you're doing it on the channel and when you're doing it with sponsors, they check out the market. भाई यहाँ पर कोई रहता ही नहीं, हमारा product ही नहीं बिकता. We don't want to feature that. But if we guys get on, Nikunj, I can guarantee you, when we are calling the shots and every shot, where we will go, how long it will be, we don't care whether there's another shop there. We don't care if there's an economy to sustain your product, because then there is no sponsor giving us that kind of pressure. Then we can get 4 shows out of Lahore Spiti, give the 4 of us the opportunity to sit in front of a rock, and we shall make a show. I have full confidence in that. So that is not even a concern for me. As long as there is no channel or sponsor telling me, Sala mera tire wani bikta, tum mat jao.
When the sponsor pays,
the sponsor is served.
The sponsor is served. When the viewer pays, the viewer is served.
The viewer is served. Nikunj, send money for 17 days of travel. We will shoot a show in the most magnificent remote areas of Himachal where there will be nothing except the 4 of us and silences all around.
We can't pull off a show by a river and bloody.
Absolutely. I mean, we can just have a fireside chat and it'll be for 15 minutes. It can definitely enthrall people.
Absolutely, man. और ज़्यादा अगर बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल हो गया situation, then we can have Mayur wear a bikini and I will wear a one-piece bathing suit, and we are willing to expose. So that will be a big hit.
Cooperate करेंगे, compromise नहीं करेंगे.
And I will say, I'm Subhash Guy, the maker, Jimmy the maker. So, on that note, thanks, Nikunj. Thank you all for listening, guys. Keep writing in. We will be back next week with the episode from Andhra because a lot of you have asked. There's Goa left, there's Andhra left. There is, what else is left? I think we have about 5 or 6 states still left. But next week, let's do Andhra. We have some fantastic memories of that. And at least my top 5 meals on my travels across the country, one of them is in Andhra. So we shall tell you about that.
Lovely.
We are doing the old Andhra. We're not doing Telangana and this Andhra.
Everything. When we were there, it was Andhra.
Yeah, exactly. Which includes Rayalaseema, which includes all of the coastal areas, all that.
Yes, and it is the spiciest, the hottest, the saltiest, and I'm, personally one of the tastiest centers for food in the country. If you really want to eat some great food, Hyderabad would be in the top 2 cities for me. I mean, it would be number 1 or number 2 depending on my mood. But Hyderabad is definitely one of those incredible cities with magnificent food. So you need to get down there. And I mean, I don't know if Nikunj is in Hyderabad. No, the guy before him, Shogat, was in Hyderabad.
Yes.
So, so Nikunj, get down to Hyderabad, try it over there, or get down to the remote areas of Andhra, and there are some equally amazing places out there.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we shall leave you with a food quote. But before that, can I urge all of you to identify whatever organizations in your city, in your locality, in your town are working to feed those who have no food because of the horrible nature of the pandemic and the economic collapse. A lot of people are really, really wanting for food. So if you can contribute, get involved in community organizations in any way to make sure no one in our country starves to death. In fact, News Laundry has a story on a lot of migrants who actually died of exhaustion or starvation, and it is heartbreaking. So in a country like ours, where there are enough of us with plenty, no one should have to die because they didn't have enough to eat. So if you can get involved with whatever organization of your choice in your city, please do, and make sure no one goes hungry. On that note, guys, let's have the food quote, gentlemen.
Prashant, have you practiced and come with 2 lines already?
Oh man, no.
You're the only one who hasn't sung a song as yet, Prashant. Why don't you sing us a song to inspire us?
No, I'm a driver, yeah. I listen to songs.
Driver वाला गाना गा.
साहब लोग पीछे बैठते हैं मैं तो गाना सुनता हूँ लोगों की.
It has been tremendous. It has been tremendous fun reading your emails, your thoughts and views. We are so eager to get out there and be on the road once again and give you more news.
Wow.
So we will look forward to all of you contributing and letting us get out there and travel. And until then, thank you, all of you. We are bound because it's very difficult to rhyme anything with travel.
This episode was special because it was about the fan mails. Can you call it fast food if the menu includes snails?
Wow.
Philosophy है, शायरी भी नहीं है, शायरी भी है, philosophy भी है.
बिल्कुल.
Whether it is the ocean, the mountain, or the plain, with your power behind us, oh wonderful listeners and hompers, Rocky and Mayur will ride again.
Wow. Yes, so thank you very much. Your emails have touched our heart. We will do our final research and tell you about the smelliest fart once you're on the road again.
No fart was coming in there somewhere.
So on that note, guys, good night. Have a good one. We'll be back with Andhra next episode.
All right, boys. Take it easy. Good chatting. Good night.
All the News Laundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to News Laundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs, and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.